All right. This recording session is a complete demo on real-life scenario project of a web application that works with this database. So we might not be able to finish up everything, but let's start for now. The project is create a web server and connect with relational database. This tutorial will help you to install Apache Web Server with PHP in a programming language and create a MySQL database. Our web server will run on Amazon EC2 instance using Amazon Linux MySQL database as our database instance. And both the Amazon EC2 and database instance run on a virtual cloud VPC based on Amazon VPC service. So what are the things we needed? Number one, we need VPC, all right, virtual private cloud for security, and we need the EC2 instance to run our, of course, web server. Now let's start. So the first thing we do is go to VPC service. Let's create VPC first. Okay. So let's write VPC. Okay. We'll not use default VPC. We're going to create our VPC. Name that VPC. Okay. Name it VPC 112. Let me open a notepad so we can take note of all our parameters. VPC name, VPC 111. All right. Our serial number 10 slash, let's use 16. Scroll down, create our VPC. All right, we are done with that. The next thing we do is to create public subnets for the VPC. Okay. Subnets. We are not using any default subnets. We are creating our own subnets. Create subnets on our VPC. VPC 112. That's the name of our VPC. What's 111. So our VPC let's create subnets. Okay, let's go to VPC 111. This is okay. Let's look at our VPC first, whether it's even running. Fresh. VPC. See 111 or 112. Is it 112 that I wrote or 111? I think it's 112. Okay, for the purpose, I think it's 112. I just put down 111. It's 112. It's not 111. 112. Okay. So let's create our subnets. Create subnets. Look for our VPC 112. Scroll down. Let's create public subnet first. Public 112. Scroll down. Yes. Okay, let's use for this one our serial number .0 this is /24. So public subnet, let's create that. You need to create private subnet as well. Choose our VPC, private. We're going to create two private subnet, private one, 112. Choose our preference here. It can be on the same preference for the first private subnet. All right. So let's have our subnet seeder block. You can choose 1.0/24/24. Create. Let's create one more private subnet. We need two. VPC. Scroll down. Private 2.1.1.2. In another availability zone, because of VPC pairing, scroll down. Let's have this 10.0.0.2.0/24. All right, so we are done with this. Select VPC, enter subnet name. We have done this. So the next thing we do after we have created our two subnet is to enable the public subnet with our public subnet. We're going to enable that one with our IP address, with our public IP address. So let's select the public subnet, scroll down, subnets. So our public subnets, scroll down. These are public subnets. All right, go to action, enable subnets. Let's enable auto assign IP address so that clients can relate and can access that our web server without any issue. So save that. Okay, that's fine. So the next thing we do is our internet gateway before our now route table. So let's follow this. So we have done this. So let's create private subnet, which I have done. I've created two private subnets. Yes. Choose an availability zone that is different from the first private subnet. I've done that. Yeah, we are done with all this. There's the next thing. Let's create internet gateway. You know the essence of internet gateway? Of course, so that we'll be able to access our web server. Internet gateway, we are going to attach to our VPC. Okay. So internet gateway, let's create, let's call it IGT 112. Create. All right. So let's attach to our VPC. Attach to our VPC. All right. Attach. Good. Okay. We've done that. Now let's attach our route table with the two private subnets, the two of them. So let's go to the route table and make use of the default VPC. So let's go to our route table now. Route table. So let's make use of one of the default VPC, because when you create your VPC, it comes with default route table. So let's use one of them. Right. So go to this place, edit subnet association. Not this, maybe the recent one. Let's try this. Okay, so the two private subnets, click on the two and associate with that route table. Okay, that's fine. So we've done that. Select both the private subnet, we've done that. Yeah, now let's create route table for the public IP as well. That we're not going to use the default one, we're going to create for that one. So create route table. route table name, let's say route 112 as well. Now VPC, these are VPC. So scroll down, create our route table. Okay, so let's attach to edit subnet association. So pick the public IP now. So save the association. All right, perfect. Moving down. So now we have attached our internet gateway. With that's all. Now the next thing we do now is to attach our internet gateway. Let's attach our internet gateway. We have created a route table. We have done this. Attach internet gateway with our route table. Okay, so let's select our route table. This is our public route table. Select it. Then we're going to edit the row and attach the gateway. Okay, so edit routes. Okay, so add routes to our internet gateway, all right, which is this, our internet gateway. So from anywhere, this is our internet gateway. All right, so save changes. We've done that. Okay, so let's create security group. Remember that whenever we are creating our EC2 instance, security group is always attached. This is the first time we are going to create security group before the instance. It has reason. Remember that security group are attached at the instance level, why the internet gateway, why the NAT gateway, the NAT rather, NACL, you will attach at the VPC. We're still coming to that. But for now, we are going to create security group first. And you know the reason why we are doing that. So let's create security group for our VPC and add inbound rule. So security group, let's go to our EC2. All right, scroll down, security group. Let's create security group for our VPC. Scroll up. Our security group name can be SG112. Description SG112. Look for our VPC. These are VPC. Scroll down. Let's add our inbound rule. Add SSH, remember. Then our IP, my IP. All right. Scroll down. Add the second rule, which is our HTTD, so that you can access that web server. We've done all this HTTD. Then remember that you have created a security group. So I should have note the security group ID. Okay, let me go back. Let me refresh. Scroll down. Where's our security group? Because okay. Let's create another security group. The one we have created, let me check the one we have created before. Should be there. We are not using defaults. We are not using defaults group, search group. Where is it? Okay, no problem. Let's create another one. Scroll up. security group SG/111/112. I've not created it before. I'm just trying to attach inbound rule, so it's not there before. SG112. Let's create the security group. Okay, so this is where we are. Trying to create security group, enter the name, select the VPC, add for inbound rule, SSH my IP address, source anywhere. Okay, good. Good. So, all right. So let's add the rule. The first rule is SSH, my IP, scroll down, add another rule, HTTD. Okay, then here should be from anywhere. So create security group for our VPC. Fine. So we've done that. Let's note down the security group ID for the public subnets. So let's note down this security group ID. Let's note it down. SG. You're going to need it very soon. All right. So let's continue. So we've done that. Now let's create security group for private database instance. The first one is for public. Remember, you've done this. So let's create another security group for database. Security group. Create security group for, let's say, DB underscore security 112. Description, we can repeat the same thing. All right. Choose our VPC. Add inbound rule. Add. Remember that this time around, we need a database and we are using MySQL Aurora. Okay. Then, now that we have created, remember that when we are doing, the last time we are trying to create database, create an instance to ensure we can access our database. That's what we call Bastion server. It was the Bastion server that we used that time around. But for now, we are using security group such that any EC2 instance that is connected to that security group will be able to access this database. So you can have 4 or 5 machines. As long as they are attached to the security group, they can access the database. So let's paste our security group here. Okay. Sorry, I've copied it. This is the security group ID. So that any instance that has an attachment with this will be able to connect to the database. So paste A. That's fine. All right. So scroll down. Save this. Okay. All right. Okay. Create an inbound rule. Okay. Okay. We are not done with that. So create security group for this database. Add an inbound rule. We have done that. Okay. Web as source server security group. So you've done that. You've created this. Don't worry about this inbound rule. Creating security group. That's fine. Let's wait. Okay, let's go back. This may be network error. So let's create this security we have created. Let's create again for database. DB database DBSG 111 database. All right. So let's choose our VPC. This is our VPC. Scroll down, add inbound rule, scroll down to Amazon Aurora. Then let's use our security group. Add the security group. Scroll down. So let's click on that. There was an error in creating the security group. Trying to roll back. Retry. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's finish up the remaining one. We'll come back and do that. I think okay. So the next thing we'll do now is let's create database subnet group. Remember that we have two subnet group. So we need to create subnets group. We have two subnets. So we have to create group for the two of them. So let's go to Amazon Aurora, regional database, RDBS. So database. So you go to subnets group. We have never created subnet group before because we have been having only one private subnet. Now that you have two, so let's create on subnet group. Create this. Let's call it subnets group 111. Okay. Subnet group 111 now. Then our VPC, pick it, scroll down. Let's add the subnet now. Remember that we have the two subnets that we created in different availability zone. One is in A, if I'm not mistaken, another one is in B. This is the two. Private one and the private two. So the two of them. So create. Click on this. Okay. Maybe because of the security group that we are still unable to create for our database. So let me go back. It's not responding. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to our security group. C2. Click on security group. All right, the network is also not so good. So create. security or database DB security 112 DBSG 112. Then let's choose our VPC. Scroll down. Let's add rule. Adding this for database. This source as our security group. Let me check that very well. Okay, I'm coming. Let's wait so I've not jumped any. Enter the name and descriptions, select VPC, click on add for inbound rule, source as web security server group. Okay. So this to give us the security group. Okay, should be fine. You have specified two resources that belong to different network. Okay. So we've created our security group for the database. So then the next thing we do is, all right, we've done this for the database. So we have two security group, one for the public subnets and the other one for the private subnet. So what we'll do now is we're going to create subnet group. Remember that this is the first time we are hearing subnet groups. We've been creating VPC with just two subnets, public and private. But this time around, we have two private subnets. So as a result of that, there's what we call VPC pairing. We have to connect the two of them together under the subnet group. So go to, because we are using RDS, relational database. So go to RDS. Okay. So under that, we have subnets group. So let's create, click on this. Okay. I think I've created one before. Okay, this is it. Okay. I've done that before. This is already there. Subnet group for the two. Okay. So, all right. So, having done that, yes, you know, we have two of them on the two availability zone. So, that is the end of part one of this project. Remember, what we are only doing is to ensure that we have a VPC within our availability zone, within the region rather. So, and we have the public subnets, private subnets. We have two private subnets, and we have one public subnet that we hold our web server. The other two private subnets, we hold our database, and we have created security group, one for public subnets and the other one for the two private subnets. And instead of us to use Bastion server, we use security group, such that any instance that is attached to that security group will be able to access our database. So with that, we've come to the end of the first part. So the second part is now to work on our database. So what we'll do now is to create our database. Okay, let's create our database. We have done that as well. We're going to do that one sharp. RDS. Let's create the database. We are done with the front end. We're only waiting for web server on the EC2. So click on database. I'm going to move fast here. Create database. Let's Okay, let me end the first part of this training. In the second part, we're going to look at how to create our database and, of course, how to link our database to our web server. Thank you very much.